What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Prodigy, and welcome to the Datascape. I'm here joined by my co-host, Noir, Lil Bomber. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts 4 and future titles and the other Guardians of Light's involvement in them. This is being a conversation sparked off of a comment that Tetsuya Nomura made back in 2022, shortly after Kingdom Hearts 4 was revealed. He did a Gameinformer interview where he gave us a lot of really lengthy questions. Like, he gave us more lengthy questions here than he usually does in Famitsu interviews or in any other interviews we usually get with him, but he went super into detail with these. And one of the questions was about characters from games like Birth by Sleep, Days, and how they became so popular, and how he feels about these characters going into Kingdom Hearts 4 and future titles. And he talked about how he did not expect these characters to get this popular. Despite that, though, he realizes it, he acknowledges it, and this was something he definitely knew going into Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 is a game debatably built completely around characters from Birth by Sleep, from Days. I mean, the biggest, selling point story-wise of those games, not only was it defeating Xehanort and ending this saga, but mostly rescuing and seeing characters like Roxas, Xion, Aqua, Terra, Ventus come back and seeing those interactions they could have with characters like Sora, Riku, Kairi today, seeing as, they're big parts of their journey. But he basically said how this story is going to be a lot more focused on Sora's disappearance, and he's not quite sure if there will be room to really explore other characters as much, but he again talks about how he and the team are aware, so he'll try to include them in future opportunities. Whether those future opportunities do come up and they find a way to squeeze them in to Kingdom Hearts 4, or if they happen in future titles. So, Noir, I'm going to give the floor to you. How do you feel about this?
I definitely appreciate Nomura recognizing how beloved a lot of these characters are, even though obviously these were characters whose stories were clearly solely built on just the Xehanort saga and what was happening in the Xehanort saga, because most of their backgrounds and their stories and their tragedies is based off of Xehanort, right? So that it makes sense that now that we're moving on to bigger and better things, that there's not that much room for these other characters, especially since their story is more or less finished. But I do appreciate that Nomura is look, I understand that people like these characters. I didn't expect them to become so popular, but I will do my best to basically include them whenever I can. But he's also to understand at the moment, they are not exactly important characters for me to put in the story right now. It just wouldn't make sense for me to make the story centered around them when they have nothing to do with what's going on. People that know me know that Roxas is my favorite Kingdom Hearts character, right? There is no question. He's been my favorite since Kingdom Hearts 2. And I have already come to terms with the fact that, after Remind, I probably won't see a lot of Roxas, right? But that definitely leaves room for other characters to take the floor. I don't think anyone can replace Roxas as my favorite character. I really don't think so. But the other characters can definitely try. But I definitely think that, I don't think that people should take this quote as we'll never see them again, or we'll get the briefest of cameos. They'll get the Final Fantasy characters treatment and Remind. They'll get that treatment. No, I don't think that's what it is, and I don't think it should be treated as that. I think people just need to realize that, okay, this is the time to introduce other characters. This happens all the time in different stories. Just because one character story is more or less finished by a certain point doesn't mean that they can't show up in the future. We've seen it happen in media plenty of times, and I would definitely love to see Roxas some more. I think that drawing inspiration from Sir Skyward's Kingdom Hearts 3 rewritten video, I think that the final battle of all of Kingdom Hearts should just include all of Sora's allies versus all of his enemies. So that would obviously include Roxas and Aqua and all of them just showing up for like this final war. I think that is definitely going to happen in the future.
I do too, because we talked about in past episodes. I think the Union Cross episode, how this saga I do think is leading. They're going to kind of probably retread some story points, but I think basically Kingdom Hearts 3, while it was 20 years in the making, and whether you were satisfied with it or not, um, that story, I think they're going to take what they did with Kingdom Hearts 3. That was the beginning. That was not only the end of the Dark Secret saga, but that was the beginning of Kingdom Hearts' ending, Kingdom Hearts' finale. You know what I mean? So, like, this saga that we're starting now with the Masters, another layer add on top of the Dark Secret saga, is going to lead to an all-out Keyblade War where, like you said, all of Sora's allies versus all of his enemies. And not even just allies he knows about, but allies through time. You know, imagine all the Union Cross kids. Remember the whole data stuff in Union Cross. Imagine all the Union Cross kids just coming out of portals. I don't know. We all think of the end game scene when we think of like all allies versus like all enemies. We kind of want something like that with Kingdom Hearts. It's all the Union Cross characters, all the freaking some missing link characters. We don't even know their names quite yet, or not everyone's names yet. Take whatever missing link characters we have, freaking Dark Road, Birth by Sleep, Days, everyone. Just bring everyone together and throw some Disney characters in there too. I would love to see that. I don't know if they'll go that far, but shoot, if we can get Jack Skellington, Aladdin coming out, helping Sora fight the darknesses, that would be crazy. But that would be like the all-timer moment for Kingdom Hearts. But you made a very good point actually earlier about how Nomura doesn't want to focus on these other characters because he wants to build new characters. A lot of people would look at this and react immediately with, wait, why would they not include Roxas, Aqua, Xion? Why would they not include these characters? We just saved them. And for some people who thought they shouldn't be saved, there's a lot of people who think Roxas, Xion should have stayed gone, should have stayed dead. Maybe Xion returning ruined her death in Days, and that doesn't have any impact. I completely disagree with that. I think that scene is still sad. It's still sad to this day because the fact that she even had to go through that is like insane to me. And I still feel for that story a lot. But outside of that, a lot of people feel that way about like these characters. So for them to be saved, be brought back, ruin a story moment for some people in like her death or Roxas, kind of letting Sora, like accepting that he's, just part of Sora. They just don't use them. Like some people would react to that with anger or maybe being upset, but I think it makes sense for Kingdom Hearts 4 that they would want to build new characters like potentially Magia and Aegis, Yuzora, whoever else we get introduced to, the Nameless Star. Similar to how Kingdom Hearts 3, Nomura's excuse for not putting Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts 3. And he said this early on, by the way. He said that he doesn't know if he's made a similar comment about Final Fantasy characters where he said he didn't know if there will be as much room for Final Fantasy early on in KH3's development because KH3 is focusing on so many other stories, is tying up stories with the Wayfinder trio, with the Days trio, with Riku Replica, stories we didn't even know, like we didn't even think were needing to be tied up with like Riku Replica, Naminé, stuff like that. So like, I don't know, I think it makes sense that he wants to focus on newer characters, and this might be a similar thing. Maybe there will be similar backlash as there was to Final Fantasy, because a lot of people like Roxas, man. A lot of people like Aqua. A lot of people, maybe not as many, but a lot of people like Xion and Axel and these other characters too. And I think they will be involved in this saga, but we just don't know how much. They might take a little bit of a backseat this game, or maybe we won't see them as much until DLC, and maybe they'll have a bigger role in the next game. But this game is seemingly going to be like very Sora and Riku focused.
I also wanted to just kind of discuss what was it that exactly made these characters so popular. Because
100% their stories.
It's definitely their stories, and just like when you think about someone like Xion, right, who does have a big fan base, although I do have personal friends that just despise her. They I've told them that like one of the bigger reasons why people like Shion so much is that with her very limited time on screen, which also includes her very limited lifespan, she made the most of it. She was someone who was very, very sweet and kind, like Kyrie, but also so self sacrificial and dedicated to her friends, like Sora, that she was able to make one of the most difficult decisions, like not even just someone like her or Rox can make, but something that a person could make. I mean, how many people could confidently say that they would give up their autonomy for someone they don't know and sacrifice time with their friends? And a further consequence is knowing that when you do this, no one will remember you when you're gone. Their memories of you will be wiped clean. Like that is not an easy decision for someone to make.
It is
And
not.
Shion made it because she knew it was the right choice. That for me earned my respect for her. She
Oh
made a
yeah.
difficult decision.
Oh yeah, Xion is easily top three Kingdom Hearts characters for me. Um, I, I'm a big fan of Xion. I always have been. I was a big fan of Xion before Kingdom Hearts 3, even bigger fan after Kingdom Hearts 3. But when you take these characters, and the reason they're so relatable, characters like Roxas, characters like Xion, even characters like Aqua Terra Ventus, when we go to the Days Trio especially, like you look at these characters who start off as kind of like Husk. We got a little teaser of Roxas in Cage 2. We got to see a lot of his personality. But especially through Days, you see how Roxas like starts off, Shion starts off as these like Husk, what they describe nobodies to be, these beings who don't have hearts even if they pretend they do. They Roxas and Shion start off as like the literal, I guess, version of what they claim a nobody is, just a husk, for like just a body without a heart. And we see them grow into these characters through their experiences with Axel, through their experiences with each other, through their experiences in Disney worlds. You see these characters like form a bond with each other. You see these characters create a genuine friendship, and even though they don't even know what they're in the organization fully for, to for some vague reason collect hearts for Kingdom Hearts day in day out. Why are we here? They even, while questioning those things, the thing they look forward to the most isn't the work, isn't the job. It's after work, hanging out with their friends, sitting on the clock tower, eating ice cream. And that's so relatable to so many people. And it's why I think the Days Trio is one of the best trios in Kingdom Hearts. It's probably the best trio in terms of friendship. They have the most genuine friendship in the series because it's so relatable to like everyday life. And there's not many things in Kingdom Hearts you can really say that about. Like there's general vague like morals and virtues that Kingdom Hearts relates with, but like Days I think kind of covers it in a way that I think the average person can relate with, because Roxas is essentially doing the everyday 9 to 5 that like a lot of people in countries across the world are doing. And the best part of his day isn't doing something grandiose. It isn't like, having some big purpose. It's just, hanging out with friends. How many people can say they live a life like that? Probably a lot of people like watching this video. The thing they look the most forward to after work is maybe watching the YouTube video, playing some like games with their friends, or going out to eat with like their loved one or their friends. And Roxas, Shion, Axel, they made you play a whole game doing that, and they made it so engaging and so heartfelt. So when Shion and Roxas like develop these virtues, develop these like values, like from the beginning, they were Husk. They were Husk in the beginning, and by the end of the game, they have developed such character that they're able to even make a decision, like what you said, where she's willing to sacrifice herself, sacrifice her body for a greater good, or for Sora, for to defeat the organization, take this like business down. It's a lot of people love that story, man, and a lot of people didn't want it to be touched, or don't like it being like messed with too much. But for them to go through all of that, there's a lot of people who are fine with them just chilling. They don't need to be involved in any crazy plot point. A lot of people feel for these characters, like, bro, they worked so hard to become people in the first place. Don't have them out here working again. Don't have him out here doing the whole Keyblade, saving the world thing. If anyone deserves to chill, if anyone deserves to just do nothing, it might be Roxas and Xion, which is why some people are okay with that. But narratively speaking, character-wise speaking, some people just want like to play as the character. They want to play as Roxas, play as Xion again, because we haven't in over a decade, well over a decade. So it'd be something interesting. Kingdom Hearts 4 probably isn't quite an opportunity to get that, because when it comes to a number title typically means Sora is going to be playable throughout like 70-80% of the game.
Minimum.
Yeah. But another aspect of this conversation, and including these characters in Kingdom Hearts 4 that I wanted to discuss, a lot of people do take Nomura's word verbatim, and that's perfectly fine, because, like, if you're going to take anyone's word verbatim when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, it better be the director, the creator of the game. However, in my personal opinion, Nomura's opinion can change. Like he's a human at the end of the day. His opinion can change. He looks at what happens online. He keeps up. He's on his old accounts. He definitely has a Twitter burner somewhere out there, or X burner, or whatever. He definitely has some burner accounts where he's a spying on the community. Because I remember there's been some interviews where he's talked about like YouTube videos in the Cage community and stuff, and like I remember hearing some of the keykeepers say how he said to some of them like, "Yeah, I've seen this guy," and it's like, whoa. Hold up, he watches the content, and I know for a fact that there's people at Square Enix who watch like our content, who watch like the stuff going on in the community, for many creators, so they're in touch. So what I mean by that is they see the reaction to this, or they will see the reaction to this. They will gauge what like their priorities are, but he's obviously going to balance it with his own. Nomura felt like it was worth it not including Final Fantasy characters in KH3 because he thought the other characters would take over that much more. But I think what he underestimated was the amount of fans who still do like seeing Final Fantasy cameos in Kingdom Hearts. Whether they're important or not, is just no reason to not have them. And I do personally think there was definitely room after playing Kingdom Hearts 3 to include Final Fantasy characters. Maybe not in a super narrative or lore or moment defining way, but just include them. Like, I don't know, like give us a random boss battle with the Final Fantasy character. You could have had a post-game Sephiroth fight, or I don't know, we go to Hollow Bash and we walk around for a little bit, even if it's not like super story relevant. We walk around for a little bit, interact with the guys, and then move about our like saga, like finishing beating Xehanort or whatever. Just the idea is that people wanted to see them, period, and it wasn't just all about the story. But I think sometimes Nomura does sometimes think it's all about the story. He thinks story first, for sure. Like, does this make sense for the story? And I understand why he thinks that way too, because a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans are that way. A lot of Kingdom Hearts fans are very like, okay, does this gameplay moment make sense for the story? Like, the reason they canonically like erase all of Sora's power after a lot of games is so they could reset him to level 1. They don't have to do that. Like, they don't have to give us a reason for Sora to go back to level 1. Like, remember at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3, they were like, Xehanort stripped all your power away when he did that. So now is their reason for Sora being at level 1 again in KH3. And it's like, you don't have to do that. I mean, it's cool, it's nice, but you don't have to do that.
Their reasonings previously wasn't his power being stripped. It was simply that he forgot abilities that he already previously knew for one reason or another, right? So
Yeah.
he entered Chain of Memories, and Naminé started to mess with his memories. Okay, fine, he has to reset. And then when he wakes up in Kingdom Hearts 2, he forgets everything that he learned in Chain of Memories. Makes sense, whatever. And then Dream Drop Distance, it was, I'm resetting my Keyblade training. I'm beginning with a clean slate. So I have to relearn these abilities again or learn new ones. Right? So, and I even made a video about this, about how Sora is going to go back to level 1 in Kingdom Hearts 4. And I said that different the different possibilities include he could potentially, like, because he's in a brand new universe or because he's in a new reality, He might not be able to access the same level of power, so he'll have to train again in unreality to make himself strong in that world, while he'll still be his normal self if he goes back to his regular reality. He could potentially, like, as a consequence of abusing the power of waking, he would lose way more than just the power itself. He'd lose like a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, yeah. That I mean that's their excuse for KH4 probably, but just what I'm saying is he doesn't have to think story first all the time. Like for example, with this comment about that he made, there's some way he could squeeze in these other characters because Kingdom Hearts fans, believe it or not, are despite the way some people act, I actually think most Kingdom Hearts fans are pretty content with very little. I think it's proven by the wait for trailers that like stuff like screenshots and even like very small trailers can hold fans over for like months to a year. Or in terms of a game, like I think with Final Fantasy, like Final Fantasy hasn't had like major inclusion in Kingdom Hearts since the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 1 and maybe the middle segment of Kingdom Hearts 2, but even then it's like they're around in Hollow Bastion in those worlds, but they're not like the main characters, you know what I mean? So like Kingdom Hearts fans a lot of the time are content with like pretty small cameos like Zack in Birth by Sleep, or Warren's with You characters in Dream Drop Distance, or even something as small, or even, I won't say this is small, but something like a Sephiroth fight. It's basically something that doesn't take up a lot of your time. It could be like a short 20-30 minute inclusion or fight or segment in the game, and fans will be fine with it. And that's all they would really have to do for like the Days trio or the Birth by Sleep trio. Include like a small 20-30 minute segment where we get to talk with them, interact with them, or we just get an update on what they're doing, what their life is like. Not, I would admittedly be a little surprised if we went through the entirety of Kingdom Hearts 4 without knowing anything going on with them, unless they are committing that hard to Quadranum, which is kind of what it sounds like. Nomura said we were going to be going back and forth to Quadranum, and this is going to be a world we'll be visiting pretty frequently throughout KH4, which reminds me of a hub world. So I think Quadranum is going to be our hub world in this game, maybe equivalent to Twilight Town in Kingdom Hearts 2, Twilight Town / Radiant Garden. But I don't know. It's kind of like this comment was also made 3 years ago now, or almost 3 years ago. So what about now? Like the fact that he was even asked this sort of question should probably show to him that okay, these people care about these other characters. So he's gonna figure out something. He's 100% going to figure out something.
He
But
for sure is, and we also have to consider that we know that there are at least two characters within those two other trios that we know are going to be prevalent in the future for one reason or another, and those two are Aqua and Ventus,
really,
because Aqua is going to be Kyrie's mentor, or her master, basically. So Kyrie is going to be strong thanks to Aqua. So that will definitely give Aqua an opportunity to just be sort of present in the story, kind of have an influence. And Ventus, because of the whole darkness within him shenanigans. Because the darkness beings, they're still going to be a pretty big threat moving forward, and we know that one of them is inside of Ventus. So he, like, that darkness is gonna have to come out at one point.
yeah, 100%. I actually thought the two characters we were going to go with were Axel and Syax, because remember the whole Subject X arc that they
Oh,
kind of have.
I completely forgot about that. Then
Yeah,
yeah, Axel is another character that is gonna be showing up a lot
So
because of
so
that.
that
So
that's why this comment that's why I question this comment a lot, because it's like there's so many threads in Kingdom Hearts' story where some of these characters are kind of directly involved in these. Like think about Marluxia and Shalizia, right? Well, this question is specifically about Birth by Sleep and Days characters, but I mean, shoot, we made reasons for two people in both of those trios, or people in both of those trios. So like I don't know, like Kingdom Hearts 4 must be that like it must really be the beginning of something else that's going to last really long, because he did say this is going to be the beginning of the end. So maybe we see these stories fleshed out a lot more after Kingdom Hearts 4, maybe in a side game, in a Verum Rex game, in a Kingdom Hearts 5, or we don't know how long this is going on for. But the fact that Nomura is even thinking about retirement, I'm kind of thinking no more than 3 to 4 games, including Kingdom Hearts 4, in my opinion.
I think the max we're gonna go to is Kingdom Hearts 6.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the max. Like, I think that would be the perfect thing to do. This another trilogy of Kingdom Hearts titles, but it's also fine to end Kingdom Hearts on Kingdom Hearts 5, because I feel like 5 is just a nice number to end it on, not 6. But maybe I don't know, maybe Kingdom Hearts 7. They could do the whole Kingdom Hearts 7 thing. I don't know.
That might be going a bit.
That might
too
be going
far.
a bit too far, but the development of Kingdom Hearts is going so differently nowadays because we're not doing side titles anymore. Like, I mean, I guess we technically got some side titles, or we got like non-number titles after 3, of course, in Melody of Memory and Union Cross / Dark Road, like finishing. But aside from that, like really nothing substantial. Melody of Memory is, a lot of people gave Recoded crap back in the day for not having anything pivotal to the lore, to the plot. Melody of Memory is kind of up there in that discussion. Not going to say Melody of Memory didn't do anything pivotal. It definitely moved the plot forward, but like a step forward, not like leaps forward like other games would.
I think the difference between Melody of Memory and Recoded was, you can basically chalk down what happened in Recoded to, oh, the plot is about to move forward, but in Melody of Memory, it was the plot is moving forward.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. It's like, I don't know. We could talk about Melody of Memory versus Recoded one day too, because I feel like that's definitely an interesting topic. Melody of Memory is a great game. Recoded is also a good game. I just think like Melody of Memory, I sat there and streamed that entire game in one session, and I got like 20 minutes of cutscenes at the end. I wasn't not satisfied because I'm like, yo, it's a rhythm game. I'm not even sad about that. But part of me is also like, they could recap Melody of Memory in probably a cutscene or two in KH4, and like people won't have to play it. I think most people still recommend that you play Recoded in Kingdom Hearts nowadays, or at least watch the movie. But yeah, talking about like these other characters and how it's weird that Nomura is saying these characters won't be involved in Kingdom Hearts 4 when there's so many story threads to cover. You start to think about, if Kingdom Hearts only has 1 to 3 more games, how are we going to cover these plot points in a satisfactory way? Because Kingdom Hearts 3 set up so much. Like, it answered a lot of questions, sure, but like it set up so much for the next saga, and not even to wrap in Union Cross. Like, Union Cross gave us even more things to set up for the next saga. And a lot of these things don't directly involve Sora. Like we said earlier with Subject X, with Axel and Isa, their whole thing is they're going to finally save her, right? They're going to finally figure out what happened to her. You have the whole thing with Kairi and Aqua training. You have the whole thing with Mickey going to Scala at Kylum. Like, what is that going to be about? Are we going to play as Mickey, like, for once? Or are we going to play as Mickey in, like, a full segment for once instead of, like, some gimmicky thing? You have Aqua and Ventus. You have Ventus existing, period. Like, these Union Cross characters are in Kingdom Hearts 3 and are alive. Larxene, Marluxia, there's some bodies now. Demyx, Luxord, like, what's going on there? The foretellers are, like, there's so many plot threads that don't directly involve Sora.
Demyx and Luxord is its own can of worms on its own.
Exactly. It's like, there's so many threads that don't directly involve Sora. So, like, these other characters, it's like, when you think of it narratively, it's hard to think about how do you not focus on them. So what I'm thinking is, if Nomura stays true to this statement, Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be about 3 characters entirely: Sora, Riku, and Yozora. I'm even debating on how involved Riku will be, because we saw Riku go to Quadratum, but like, what's going to happen? Is he going to go there, get cooked by Yozora because, what we saw in the secret ending? Is he going to go there, get cooked by Yozora, and then Sora has to save them, or some other arc happens? Or just maybe the whole game is isolated in unreality, and like that, like we don't get any updates about what's happening in the realm of light aside from other characters trying to figure out where Sora is. So maybe we just in the realm of light, and maybe we just follow Donald and Goofy, and maybe like Kairi and Aqua, and then the game ends with like Kairi finally getting to Quadroma, and then we get some sort of cliffhanger or something after that. It's I don't know. Like you get what I'm saying? It's hard to think about how do you like make a game only about Sora after Kingdom Hearts 3 and Remind?
I mean, there's something I wanted to touch on when you said three characters that Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to focus on, Sora, Riku, and Yuzora, but I think Kairi should also be included in that.
I think she should be too. I would prefer it if like the Destiny trio was the focus for this arc in general. Actually, Yuzora too. You could add Yuzora to that, but like I think we had Sora, Donald, and Goofy focus for the Dark Secret Saga. But I think it's time to get back to our roots with the Destiny trio and wrap their story up. That's the story that's like the most important for sure.
I think, honestly, because people suggested before that Kingdom Hearts 3's campaign would be broken up between Sora, Riku, and Kairi, but I think that's really going to happen with Kingdom Hearts 4.
Really?
Yeah, either that or we get a side game right after that that gives us that.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So how exactly do you feel about Yozora being playable in future Kingdom Hearts games, and like what happens there? Like, do you think
I definitely think Yozora is gonna have a major role in the next game. I'm not sure about being playable. There is a good chance of that, but I also think that it's possible that he's just like one of the biggest characters that we are dealing with during that game. Like he will, because Kingdom Hearts 4 is obviously going to be Sora's game, right?
yeah.
It's a number title. Sora's going to be at the top of the helm, right? There's no question about that. But I've pointed out before that characters that are featured in the secret ending, they don't become like, or I should say, I'll put it like this: the secret boss of Kingdom Hearts games don't become prevalent until two games later. So you had Unknown in Kingdom Hearts 1. He became prevalent in Kingdom Hearts 2. That was two games later. You had Lingering Will in Kingdom Hearts 2. He became prevalent in Birth by Sleep. Two games later. You had Young Xehanort first showing up as mysterious figure in Birth by Sleep. Two games later, Dreamed Up Distance. He's one of the main antagonists.
To be
So
fair with Dream Drop though, I feel like okay. I know we have this whole thing. There's no coincidences in Kingdom Hearts. I kind of think that might be a coincidence, but at the same time, though, if you're going by your two game thing, you could kind of say two games with Melody of Memory, you know, Union Cross. But I I don't know because Recoded was in between Dream Drop, and Recoded is a remake of a phone game, so it's like kind of sorta, you know, but they did plan it out. Um, I definitely think Yozora is going to be playable for sure because the reason I think he's going to be playable in the future is because it's basically like Nomura's new Noctis. Like he might as well be the equivalent of a new Final Fantasy protag, but for Kingdom Hearts. I feel like there's no way Nomura doesn't want to make him playable and doesn't want to like trying to fulfill that vision. He is the up. He's set up as a parallel to contrast with Sora. So I think the opposite, like Sora's essentially opposite, is going to be playable. Like, I feel like he has to be playable in some way, shape, or form. I don't know where or how they do it. Maybe Yozora opens up KH4. That would be kind of hype. I never even thought about that. Now I'm not going to set myself up for that, but the idea of that sounds kind of cool. Yozora opening KH4 would be kind of raw. Imagine KH4 opens up with that car cutscene, then we play it out. First time in years.
that would be nice. That would be really cool. Kind of like how Kingdom Hearts 2 opened up with the beach scene with Xemnas and Roxas.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yo, dude. That'd be sick. That would
That
actually
that
be so
would
sick.
be that would be.
That would actually be so freaking sick. So, we talked a little bit about other characters' importance. We talked a little bit about Yuzora, and we talked about this like comment that Nomura made. What do you think he has in mind for these other characters? How do you think he's going to go about these other stories and like execute them? Because we talked about how there's so many plot threads that still need to be wrapped up before Kingdom Hearts 4 ends, and maybe he won't wrap up all of them. Nomura likes to write his games to leave a little bit of mystery, so I think even if Kingdom Hearts ends, it'll probably still be a little mysterious. We'll probably still be speculating and theorizing. We'll probably just never get our answers, and we'll just have to have fun theorizing and coming up with our own conclusions. But how do you think he's going to tackle these stories in the future, if not in Kingdom Hearts 4?
I think at the very least in Kingdom Hearts 4 we'll get. I know we're gonna get Charlotte, but I think we'll also by extension get Subject X and who else was tied to that plot thread? Um, I think that's more or less like the main thing, like Subject X, just because when Charlotte is shown, like obviously I feel like at some point Laurium will show up, and he did say at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, like he was getting his memories back. So by the time he reaches Strelitzia in Quadratum, he should have his memories back. He should know who she is, and he should start to wonder at when he finally reunites with his sister, um, where is Scold? Where is Ephemer? Where is Brain? Right? He'll know where Ventus is. He'll know that Ventus is okay, but he'll have no idea about everyone else, save for El Reina.
Yeah.
So I feel like that will probably take the first half of Kingdom Hearts' plot.
Hmm. I could maybe see that happening for sure. Like, I I, I do think Kingdom Hearts 4. If I had my own predictions for how its story would go, I think part of the game is going to be about Sora and Quadratum, but you're going to be playing two sides of like maybe this game is just super unique because it's hard to imagine. Because Kingdom Hearts 4 is they are setting a new foundation, so maybe all traditional tropes can go out the window. But I think we play Kingdom Hearts from two sides. Ideally, there's the Guardian of Light story that's going on in the background in the Realm of Light, and then most of the game, like probably 70% of the game, will be all Sora and Quadratum. But that other 30% is going to be where the foretellers get into play because the Master of Masters is in Quadratum, but I don't think the foretellers are. I'm assuming the Master of Masters might be isolated, and he might be going back and forth between Quadratum and the Realm of Light, however he does it, right? Um, while Luxu and the foretellers mess with the Guardians, because that story has to get kicked up, and the epilogue obviously is going to relate to KH4. Like they're going to follow up on that heavily, so that should be very fascinating for sure. Also, do you think the foretellers are just going to side with the master, like right off the bat after everything? I mean, probably, but
They still treat what he says as law. So I definitely think so. I don't think any of the foretellers, save for Ava and Lushu, would have any reason to disobey him.
yeah, perhaps. Well, I think that about covers today's episode, though. Do you have anything else you felt like you wanted to say regarding the other characters in Kingdom Hearts 4, the other Guardians of Light, and their involvement in future titles?
Roxas, Kingdom Hearts 4, let's go. Let him make a cameo at least.
Dude, Roxas has to make a cameo. He's one of the most popular Kingdom Hearts characters. There's no way they don't show him. Imagine it's the whole game without Roxas. Well, I guess we went through multiple, but since he's back now, I think he definitely needs to have a cameo, or should. I won't. Don't get me wrong. I want to say this to be clear. Regardless of expectations or my personal thoughts on Nomura's comments. Uh, Shoot, I'm excited for KH4 anyways. Like, this doesn't scare me. Like, I'm not worried that these other characters aren't going to be in KH4. More so, like, the thought of them not being in is a little surprising. But shoot, Kingdom Hearts 4 could be all about Yozora and Quadratum and be a freaking 10 out of 10, 20 out of 10 fantastic game. And shoot, you won't hear me complaining. Like, I'll probably still be like, dang, it would have been nice if Roxas was in. But shoot, the game is still great enough without. That's kind of how I felt with KH3. I know some people, Final Fantasy characters not being KH3 ruined the game for them. For me, it's like, and admittedly, I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy fan yet. I've played very little Final Fantasies. I'm mostly a Final Fantasy 7 guy, but
Play Final Fantasy 16.
I know I need to. I'll get to it eventually, one day. But like with all of that, like it didn't. The game was good enough without the Final Fantasy characters for me, and the game was good enough without like some things people claimed like they needed in that game. And KH4 could end up being the same way, or maybe the opposite. Maybe I joined the anti KH3 crowd, and I'm like with KH4, I'm like, bro, this they didn't do this in KH4. What happens. But I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys support Noir. His link is always at the top of every single description on these podcast episodes, so be sure to check him out. Subscribe to him. I enjoyed this fun little talk about other characters. Next episode, well, you guys will find out what the next episode is, especially patrons. But thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Prodigy.
My name's Zora Lowbomber.
And remember to be nice, be safe, and take care. I almost forgot my outro for a minute.